The Georgia Bulldogs are the back-to-back and reigning national champions of college football. But are they the best program?
Told them, how about the fucking dogs? That's what I told them.
Yes, the Dogs have won back-to-back national titles, and they are your reigning national champions. But does that make them the best program in the country? The trick here is that those national championships were not won overnight. The championships the last 2 years are just the tip of the iceberg of what that program has become. But how does that compare to what other universities across the country are doing? If you're going to talk about who has the best program and not just who has the best team based on who wins on the field, then you have to have some way to separate the teams. In this case, I've chosen the following 5 criteria: total wins and win percentage, conference championships, average recruiting class rankings, the overall number of players taken in the NFL draft, and of course, national championships won. I feel like a 5-year window is a pretty good snapshot. For this discussion, we're going to be looking at the Power 5, and I decided to use conference titles won as the minimum bar for entry. In the SEC, you're looking at Alabama with 3 titles, Georgia, LSU. Out of the Pac-12, Utah's won it twice, Oregon's won it twice, and Washington took the other title. In the Big 12, we see Kansas State, Baylor, and Oklahoma with 3 championships in the last 5 years. In the Big 10, it's a 2-team race. Michigan's won it the last 2 years, and Ohio State won it the 3 years before that. Out of the ACC, Clemson has won the title 4 times, with Pittsburgh getting 1 championship in this last 5 years. So now that we know who's in the discussion, we have to start to pare the field down a little bit, and I chose to use total number of wins and win percentage to get us there. To qualify for this level, you had to have won multiple conference championships in the last 5 years or a national title. Let's take a look at who's still in the running. Clemson checks in with 60 wins over the last 5 years and an 87% winning percentage. Oregon has 45 victories, coming in at 63% winning percentage. Oklahoma has 50 victories and a 77% winning percentage. Utah checks in with 43 victories and a 70% winning percentage. LSU's won 46 games at a rate of 71%. Ohio State's tallied 55 total victories at an 89% winning percentage. The Crimson Tide of Alabama show up with 62 total victories and a 90% winning percentage. Michigan's won 46 games with a 77% winning percentage. And Georgia's won 60 games, tallying an 88% winning percentage over the last 5 years. Now, we all know that the key to being successful in college football is having the players on the field that can actually win those games for you. Let's take a look at the average recruiting class rankings for all of the schools still in this discussion. Over the last 5 seasons, Clemson has had an average recruiting class ranking of 8th in the country. Oregon comes in with an average ranking of number 9. Oklahoma is tied for Clemson at 8. Utah comes in at the lowest point with an average class ranking of 32. LSU has averaged finishing 6th in the overall rankings in the last 5 years, as has Ohio State. Now, it should come as no surprise that Alabama has the overall number 1 class ranking for each of the last 5 years as an average. Michigan settles in just outside the top 10 in each of the last 5 years, checking in at number 11. And the Georgia Bulldogs are right on the heels of the Crimson Tide with the number 2 average recruiting class over the last 5 years. When you consider the usual suspects for teams that may actually make the college football playoff each season, it's no surprise that those teams with the highest blue chip ratio and the highest ranking recruiting class year after year are the ones that are going to populate those final 4 spots. Now, when it comes to players, all of this information sort of goes hand in hand. It's not only about what you're rated when you get on campus. What matters is how you're developed while you're there. Can a university take you from a prospect to an NFL draft pick? Let's look at who's done the best job of that over the last 5 seasons. Over the last 5 drafts, the Clemson Tigers have put 26 players in the league. The Oregon Ducks have put 20 guys into the NFL via the draft. The Oklahoma Sooners are well represented here, with 29 players taken in the last 5 drafts. Utah has had 16 Utes taken in the draft over NFL weekends over the last 5 years. And as we move into some heavy hitters, LSU has had 40 players taken in the draft. Ohio State, 41. Alabama has had a whopping 46 players taken in the NFL draft over the last 5 years. The Michigan Wolverines, 37. And the Georgia Bulldogs top the list with 48 total draft picks over the last 5 years. Again, you can see the correlation here. Talented prospects turn into NFL draft picks, and the teams we've been discussing are certainly considered NFL draft factories. There can only be one. Nobody's going to remember your ifs, ands, or buts, your woulda, coulda, shouldas. Did you get the trophy at the end of the day? So in our final funnel for determining who has a shot to be crowned the best program in the country today, we have to take a look at who's winning national titles over the last 5 years. Now, obviously, this is going to trim the field. Over the course of the last 5 seasons, we can clearly see which conference and which teams have dominated the sport. In 2018, the Clemson Tigers won a national title with a perfect 15-0 record. In 2019, the LSU Tigers blitzed the college football world, racing to a 15-0 record and a national title. In the shortened COVID season of 2020, the Alabama Crimson Tide went 13-0 en route to their national championship. And of course, the Georgia Bulldogs, your back-to-back and reigning national champions, bludgeoned their way to titles in both the 2021 season and 2022. If you take an objective and fact-based approach to looking at the last 5 seasons, considering the total number of wins and winning percentages for the teams, the number of conference titles won, the average ranking of each school's recruiting class over that period, the number of players they've put into the NFL draft, and of course national championships, the answer is clear. The University of Georgia Bulldogs have the best college football program in the country today.
Emotional damage!
These rankings are fluid, as they should be, and they can certainly change given new information. But right now, it's undeniable. Georgia is the lead dog in college football.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Go Dogs!
We will not be hunted at the University of Georgia. I can promise you that.